everyone. Today is Tuesday, August 27th, and we are here to start the Chelmsford Conservation Commission meeting. Call this meeting to order. My name is Carl Bischoff. I'm the chair of the Chelmsford Conservation Commission. We will get started here. We will be following the published and posted agenda. The meeting is both in person and on the Zoom. So if the Zoom isn't working, we will still continue the meeting in person without the Zoom. So the meeting is also being broadcast and recorded by Chelmsford Telemedia and will be available on their website and on YouTube. So first thing we have is we are open for any concerns from the citizens of the town relative to conservation matters that are not on our agenda tonight. If anyone has anything and wants to come forward, now's your time to make something visible to us. Make it known. I don't think we have anyone. Okay. So next up on our agenda here is we have Jason Suderman, use of the Cranberry Bog Reservation for a bicycle riding event. And that's who's in the car on the Zoom. Hello, Jason. Why don't you, David, do you want to preface this at all?
Sure, I can see. So a few weeks ago, Jason sent me a request to use Cranberry Bog, a reservation for a bicycle riding event. I think he said 50 to 60 bicycle riders. I think that was only, the Cranberry Bog part of it was only one leg of a larger route that went through Carlisle, and I'm not sure where else. So, given that, 50 to 60 riders for Cranberry Bog seem like, a higher than average number, I asked him to appear before at the Conservation Commission meeting to give a few more details regarding the event. He has since emailed me that I guess the event, or at least the Cranberry Bog Reservation section of it, is no longer planned. But so why don't you take it from there, Jason?
Yeah, hello everybody. The mosquito mountain bike challenge.
Sorry, we're not hearing.
We're losing you.
Hear me now?
Barely, yeah.
Barely.
Yeah,
That was a little better.
that's a little better.
A little better. All
That's
right,
good. That's
I'll,
good.
Better, a lot better.
I will stand funny looking. No, it's the mountain bike challenge has been around for this will be the 13th year. It was started as a memorial ride with them left our last year. And it was a way for these guys to connect personal life. It's turned into interesting, excellent Carlisle-based families in Concord and local riders. We do 50 miles of mountain biking through Carlisle, but there's a few areas that touch section of Chelmsford, the north end, Cranberry Bog. We would typically enter off Fisk through the parking lot and head south to Cranberry Bog proper, and then head over to Eagle. We've adjusted the route as it is to confine it to Carlisle, but I wanted to follow through with you guys as a good neighbor to find out what the situation is over your way with regards to the bikes, which can be a longer discussion down. But just to share that we're in the process in Carlisle, COMSCOM, the Trails Committee, and stewards to set guidance for mountain biking in general. So to come down to 30,000, back to the ride itself, we have a staggered start for the 7 to 5 to 7 rider groups, 5 to 10 apart, depending assembly rates. Very casual, not organized. By no means a race.
So, Jason, we are getting about every other word from you. So what I think I'm hearing from you is that you're not looking to do this with the current event that you have coming up in Chelmsford.
Correct.
but you're
Correct.
looking for some guideline, guidance for future events. And I think what I was hearing from you is that you're saying that it would be a staggered start. This is not a race, this is a ride. And that the staggered meant that you wouldn't be having a bunch of riders all at once. It would be kind of spread out over a period of time. And it would be something like 30, 40, 50 riders over an hour maybe, or something like that. And so you're looking for just kind of guidance from us on that. And would there be parking in the, okay, there's no parking anywhere near our, because we don't have enough parking for this.
No, it's all actually at my house in Carlisle Center. I own the other church right on the common. So
Okay.
we all park there and have to
So,
park there.
so in the interest of trying to move this forward, let me ask the commission if you have concerns about this. I think what I'm thinking is that if we just get notice of when this is happening, whenever you're going to do a ride like this, to let us know, and especially to have, maybe have people on the ground at the site to make sure that at any major intersections on the site, there's a few places to just make sure that there's no issues with, like where you cross the dams, for example. Those are tight, so having that kind of control. I don't know if anybody has any other comments or thoughts. Chris?
No, I mean, yeah, I think you're addressing the concerns that I had, so we're not dealing with parking because parking's really constrained out there at that site, which is very short, so that's good. We don't have to worry about that. It's not like 50 or 60 bikes are flying through all at the same time, so we don't have that safety issue, so that's good. We do get a lot of dogs out at that area, so just something to keep in mind. There are a lot of dogs. People like to take their dogs out. Some go off leash. Yeah, I think I'm good hearing more details about like what we're talking about, and then you could work through our agent, presumably, right, and kind of give him the details, and I'd be comfortable.
Mark?
Great. What I'll do.
Let me
is-
go through the commission first. Mark?
You were saying this isn't a race, it's just an event, so it'll be reasonable speeds all the time through there. Yeah, that's fine.
Bill?
I think Chris can cover everything.
Okay. John?
If Carlisle's fine with it, I think Chelmsford should be fine.
The only other thing I think would be the time of year. I know at the Cranberry Bog Dam, there are some turtle hatchlings. And so in the summer months, that's when that's most at risk into, what, September, David? Through September, even into October, maybe? So especially those times, would want to be really careful if you were going to go through there. But once you get beyond, I don't know, October 1st or even middle of
Certainly the
October,
first week in October.
then it's a lot less of an issue. Those would be the main issues I think we have. Anything else you want to add, Jason?
What I'll do for the benefit is send along our progress report to you, Dave. It shows all the votes and support that we've got.
Okay. You're going to send a progress report, I think is what I got out of what you just said. Okay. And you'll send that to David?
Yes,
Okay.
and whenever an event is scheduled, I can post something on the commission's webpage.
Yep,
just letting
yeah,
people know.
because I know we've had a couple of situations, I've had people ping me and say, hey, did you know about this bike ride? I'm like, yes, we did actually, but it would be good if we were able to post that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Fantastic.
thank you, Jason. Thank you very much for reaching out to us, appreciate it.
Been a pleasure. Thanks
yeah.
all.
Yep, thank you very much. Okay, have a good evening. Everybody's good with that? Yeah, okay.
You did a great job. I don't understand half of what he said.
You did a great job, Carl, interpreting it all for us. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
It's
yeah.
these Zoom things.
Yeah, all right. Now we go to our report from the plan. Dave, do you have anything more you wanted to add on that?
No.
No, okay. Report from our planning board liaison. Hello, Chris.
Good evening. So we haven't had a planning board meeting since early July, so not much new to report. We do have a meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be reviewing the outdoor lighting bylaw proposal again, reviewing the Board of Health scope of work for the gap analysis from LEI for the bylaws. We'll continue a few hearings, including Hildreth. And then we'll start looking at the implications of the accessory dwelling unit laws that came down recently in Massachusetts. So that's pretty much what our agenda is going to be tomorrow.
Did you enjoy your summer?
It was a nice summer without the meetings.
It's been a while.
Yes, it has.
All right, any questions for Chris?
No, thanks.
All right.
All right.
Good.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the update. First hearing here, we have a continued hearing from our last meeting on August 13th. This is a notice of intent from the town of Chelmsford DPW regarding 1 and 3 Hugo Lane, 10, 12, and 14 State Street, and Courtney Thompson is here representing the town. Hello, Courtney.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. What do we got?
Not much has changed since the last meeting. We are planning on replacing approximately 200 feet of undersized 10-inch drainage pipe with 15-inch pipe. The work will be performed by a mini excavator. We'll plan on entering the work site through our easement at Sands Place. And then in addition to that, the other side of the pipe will not be replaced. It will be lined by a contractor, by a subcontractor. They will be lining that first segment of pipe from State Street, and then that second segment of pipe between the two catch basins they will also enter the easement from Sands Place and go from the northern catch basin down to the southern catch basin. We're also on the very northern part of the project site. We are also replacing approximately 55 feet of corrugated metal pipe with the same size plastic pipe. So,
David, do you have anything to add?
So, since the last meeting, comments were received back from DEP. Said they wanted an engineering plan, hence the plan you see before you. They also wanted a few more details on the plan, the restoration plan for the wetlands after the work has been completed. So that has all been provided. I think the commission has enough information at this point to be able to close the hearing.
There is a DEP number?
There is a DEP number, yes.
Okay. Those were the things that I remember being open from the last meeting, and it sounds like we're in pretty good shape. Now, just to be clear, there were other questions from neighbors about sort of neighboring adjacent part, which we were kind of carving off and saying that's a very good legitimate
Yeah.
concern, but that's not part of this hearing. And just curious, has there been any discussion about that?
yeah, so that area down behind Noble, I believe it is,
Yeah, right.
is a known flood-prone area. It is part of a greater undertaking we're doing to try and better understand the watershed and flooding. So it is a known area that's prone to flooding. This project will not be increasing or changing the water down there in any way.
Okay.
So
Okay. But it's on your radar?
it's on our radar, yeah.
That's what I was hoping to hear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further questions? John, do you have anything you want to ask?
No, I think we should get this thing put to bed.
Okay, all right.
I'm all set.
Bill, good? Mark?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. There was a lot of concerns of residents in
Yeah,
the
the
area. Yeah, we can't-
residents.
that's
There's
not
nobody
really
here
our
tonight?
thing.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Okay.
all right.
You opened the floodgates.
Yeah, all right. Chris?
I
I
mean,
guess we're not going to bed.
we heard from these folks last meeting, and, the concern then was we didn't want to do something to improve the situation in one neighborhood that then would then have an adverse impact on another neighborhood. So I guess what I'm hearing is that engineering, you've taken a look at this, and you're telling us basically that from an engineering perspective, you're not going to do something in this neighborhood that's going to adversely make things worse for other people.
Right.
That's what I'm hearing you say?
Right, yeah, so the pipe that's being replaced and the size is changing. We're putting back in the pipe that was there, I want to say about 2 years ago, the correct size 15-inch pipe. It got replaced somehow and got sized down. And so it's going back to the size that had previously always been there. The other pipe is simply being lined to protect its integrity. And then the natural slope, it will just be a natural slope to one of those catch basins that's there to prevent pooling in the general area. And then it will be reseeded with wetland mix. So It's not going to change the flow or the amount of water going to Noble Drive or
Okay.
to.
Okay, and David, your interaction with the DPW on this is confirming what she's saying?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
okay, all right. So I'm hearing our commission seems to be satisfied, but I recognize that we have some folks in the public that want to have some comments, so let's open it up to comment from the public. So if anybody from the neighborhood, if you want to come up and give your name and
Address.
name and address. Good evening.
Hi, Lynn Havener, 7 Noble Drive. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. As a 35-year resident of Noble Drive, I am here once again on behalf of the residents who live in odd-numbered streets, odd-number addresses on my street who will be impacted by this project. Since your last meeting 2 weeks ago, still none of us on Noble Drive have been informed of this project, and none of us is aware of anyone from either this committee or the DPW coming out to check on the situation from our yards or talk to us about it. It seems to me that we're in the same place as we were 2 weeks ago when this vote was continued. Again, I wish to state my support for Hugo and State Street residents in their endeavors to correct the water problems on their properties. The proposed increase of pipe size from 10 to 15 inches will allow more water to flow, which indeed will clear Hugo and State, which was the DPW's goal. However, the DPW's solution to alleviate their water accumulation is merely moving water problems farther downstream. My land, and at a minimum, my neighbors living at numbers 3, 5, 7, and 9 Noble, will continue to erode and water levels will most likely increase at a low point behind number 17 Noble Drive, where it feeds into a smaller pipe between numbers 3 and number 5 Lord Road. I am again asking that should this project move forward, its scope needs to be broadened to include the restoration of Noble Drive residents' land. I am asking for any help that the Conservation Commission can add to help us with the DPW in getting this moved forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? So, do we think, I mean, what I'm hearing there is that the impact of this project, their perception is that it will be impacting their land, but we're being told, David, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here a little bit, we're being told otherwise.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Let me just bring up that area right now on the GIS. So
The other thing is, I remember we had an abutters notice issue last time. Do we know that got?
yeah, I'm still not sure. So you have the abutters list, don't you? Courtney?
Yeah, the abutters notice went out for the 300-foot abutter zone. I believe I'm certain there were at least a couple Noble Drive addresses on that list. I've received a stack of
Cards.
confirmations now. Now, everyone down Noble Drive definitely is not within the 300.
Beyond the 300 feet.
But there,
I thought,
I believe
that's
a
what I was
couple of
told.
them, if I remember
At the top
correctly.
end near state.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what they're fixing, right?
Yeah. There's no,
So I'm just going to bring up the storm drain system here. So Courtney, maybe you can help us out.
Between 5 and 7.
5 and 7. So that's
3 on the corner.
That's 3,
I'm
so-
sorry,
so that's 5.
that's 5, yeah.
And that's 7. So the concern is that the water from this project will be getting into this wetland. You can see this wetland, and that will be impacting your properties. Is that the concern?
Yes, it already is. I mean, you can see I'm at number 7. I have a pool,
Mm-hmm.
and the fence behind the pool is already, it's eroded in the 12 years we've put the pool in to the point where the fence is starting to fall backwards.
So it looks like there are two potential sources of water. One is from this drain, well, maybe Courtney, you can
Also this
take
one.
me.
The water does flow back behind Noble Drive, but
Okay,
if you show the project, if you can pull up where the project
Yeah.
is. Right
Yeah.
now, the water is just slowing down here because the pipe is too small at this stretch. So the water is still entering the catch basin here and going down. It's just causing some flooding here. So increasing it will just return the flow that was there 2 years ago. And we are aware that there's flooding issues behind Noble Drive, but this will not make them worse.
but the water is flowing in this direction,
Right, it's
right?
still, yeah.
And then it flows in and then comes down this way.
Yeah, and then
And
it
then-
does go back here.
Oh, okay. So I think what you're saying, Courtney, is that it shouldn't be increasing it really above the historical.
Right, yeah.
But I think maybe what you're saying is that historically it's been a problem.
I think even now, all the water still ends up down there. We do know that it can be a problem during rain events and that we do know it's an area prone to flooding.
So I guess I was thinking that most of the water was going out right there at the top, going the other way,
No.
to the right,
That Sands place?
yeah, right through that circle through there. I thought it was that this was going to create more flow that way. And you're saying it's going to continue flowing down the other way.
It does flow down the other way.
Well, and so the two sources that's one source, right? Flows in that direction, right?
Yeah,
And then this is another source
yes.
Okay.
flowing here.
And that's the outlet there.
Yeah, it's down here.
So Courtney, just remind us again. So up until 2 years ago, when the pipe was replaced, it was a 10-inch diameter pipe.
It was
15,
a 15-inch.
Oh, it's 15 inch.
It was.
Oh, I'm sorry. So it was replaced with a 10-inch.
Right, which I don't know why that happened. That shouldn't have happened.
But now you're putting the
back
15-inch back.
15-inch, yeah.
Why was the 15-inch taken out for the 10?
I'm not sure.
Was it-
It was a judgment error, I think. I don't.
No, but why would somebody even change it in the beginning?
Well, I gather it was in pretty bad condition,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah, I
it?
think it was a corrugated metal pipe, so
Oh,
that's why they
so
changed it to
rotted.
begin
It's
with.
all right.
Oh,
But
okay.
it shouldn't have been
downsized.
Okay.
It shouldn't have been downsized.
Right.
Exactly.
Do you have any thoughts off the top of your head, Courtney, about how to address these concerns?
I'm not sure. I mean, it is a wetland area and it takes in water from a lot. It takes in a lot of water. If you look out, many of those neighborhoods are feeding water into that wetland area, and then it flows across, I believe. If you keep going down, I believe then it flows across, or maybe not. Yeah, I'm not sure what the next steps are to try and alleviate this wetland area that is taking a lot of water. But it is something that the DPW is aware of.
If I may,
Can you please come up to the microphone? Thank you.
Lynn Havener, 7 Noble Drive. If I may, the water flow from Noble Drive between number 5 and number 7, it's a water runoff, that's blocked. It's been blocked for how many years? About 16 years. So the only water that's coming into my backyard is from State Street. And then there is one outlet that's coming from Freeman Road.
So where is it currently blocked? Can you?
Right there,
Here.
right where you're,
So it's not coming out from that outlet, or?
this has been blocked for 15, 16 years. So the only way that we're getting water down here is through the State Street and then this one runoff from Freeman Road. So our concern is that the goal of this is to get rid of the water here. So that water is gonna go away, and that's great for my Hugo road, friends, but that water's gonna come down here, and then it's gonna get stuck at number 17. Because if you looked at Lord Road, it's got a small pipe that feeds, then that goes down to the soccer fields and then to Mill Pond. That's the direction. But there's not, the only real source is coming from here and then that one from there.
Okay.
Well, it's not our job to engineer this, but we don't want to leave them with,
We don't want to leave them
No.
with a problem.
Right.
We don't want to fix a problem here
we can't,
and put more water to them.
yeah, we,
It's not right.
And I'm not,
So,
I guess I'd feel better if I had some comfort that these guys out on Hugo were gonna have some improvement on this situation, but it just seems to me common sense, and I'm not a civil engineer, but if you're, if you're going from a 10-inch pipe back up to a 15-inch pipe, I think the water's gonna flow through
Yep.
quicker
Yep.
and more rapidly. I just think it could be worse.
water flows downhill, it's going towards Noble Drive.
Yeah.
This is what we gotta,
yeah, so it's not gonna help.
we gotta
Noble
address
Drive.
their problem. Fixing this up here is fine.
Yeah.
I thought we were just gonna put this to sleep, fix this. But somehow I thought it was coming out of Sands Place the last time.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's, the last time they were talking, it was coming down Sands Place.
Okay,
I got the old map here.
so, yes.
Lynn
hello.
Haven or 7 Noble Drive. If we had a topographical map, you would see that the low point in the neighborhood is like in this area. So there's a high road, Bishop, and
Yep.
behind that is a apartment development that's in North Billerica. So they clear cut that, so a lot of the roots that used to be able to absorb the water is gone. So Bishop, a lot of water flows down to Sands Place, which is low. So Sands, part of Hugo, and part of State are the low area there.
Got it.
That then flows into State Street, and it continues to get lower. And the concern for us is that at the end of State Street, we're just moving the problem from Hugo
Okay.
to State.
So, I'm tending to think I'd like to see some more engineering, broader look here, David.
Well, I think that frankly, part of the problem here is the increased rainfall that we've had over the last few years. What the intent of this project really only is to bring it back to what historically, at least evidently, what has historically been the drainage network in this area. That probably originally dates back, more than 60 years. With climate change, at least in my opinion, that, over the past 10, 15 years, it's gotten wetter. So, maybe the original design for the drainage network in this particular area just is no longer adequate. But I think it probably would take a pretty extensive analysis, like a watershed analysis, to understand how it's changed and to come up with a solution. I think that's probably outside the scope of this notice of intent. But
Yeah.
I think certainly the DPW is hearing that this is a problem, and there's serious concerns here, and maybe they can move it up in their priority list.
Yeah,
Courtney?
I agree with what David was saying. And I know it seems like increasing the pipe is going to cause a much faster flow down to Noble, but all the water there currently still ends up in Noble. But I do understand the severity of what the residents at Noble Drive are dealing with. And, if we do, I understand us trying to look into making a plan to alleviate that.
I mean, the commission can certainly put a condition in the order of conditions to require, more engineering analysis for that downstream area at Noble. To look at the contributions from Hugo, to look at the contributions from Sands,
Bremen.
and to look at the surface. I mean, there is a catch basin on the surface there, so the commission could certainly put that in the order to begin doing that analysis.
I know that Stormwater has done a number, or is working some watershed studies in different parts of town. Is
Yeah.
this even on your list?
I'd have to check. I do know that it is listed as a flood-prone area, so I'd have to see if it was on one of the bigger watershed
Okay.
studies, but, yeah, I mean,
I know you've been getting a lot of these similar,
yeah, we've been getting
different parts of town.
a lot of rain, so it,
Yeah,
Got a lot of rain.
yeah.
That's
It's,
simple.
well, and the town, a lot of the houses were built in areas that were on the edge 50
Yeah.
years ago, and when you add more water,
yeah, on
yeah, it's
wetlands.
not a good situation, so.
The pipe that was there was a 15-inch and it was deteriorated. That's why I replaced it with a 10-inch by error. So the 15 hasn't worked correctly in a long time. You weren't getting 15 inches of water flow out of that.
I think that we still are systematically replacing corrugated metal pipe through town. I can't speak on how bad the condition was when we replaced it, but,
My
I'm not
point
sure.
being, though, you're increasing the volume by over 100%, from a 10-inch to a 15-inch pipe.
you just in the top section, the section that runs out of the low point, is already a 15-inch. The section that runs from Sands to,
But the water on the top part is gonna go through the new 15-inch pipe, but it's not gonna have the ability to dissipate as it does with a 10-inch pipe and a deteriorated 15-inch pipe from prior.
yeah,
And they're just gonna get worse for them downstream a little bit, so.
okay, yeah.
And it's not my thing, I shouldn't be talking about this, I just want,
No, I understand. I understand that it's a problem down in Noble as well.
I mean, it
I
shouldn't.
think it should be addressed.
Yeah,
I mean, it shouldn't be a tremendously difficult engineering calculation to just look at the output here.
yeah.
I got a question. Is Noble Drive, that end of it, is that piped or is it open cut?
I don't know. What is that symbol?
Yeah, once you get past the outfall, it looks like it's an open wetland area.
It's open until Lord, and then there's a corrugated pipe at Lord.
Okay,
And the pipe
whole
at
wetland
Lord
area.
is a problem. And you're not aware about the pipe at Lord being a problem?
It's the end
No.
of State Street, number 17 State Street, and then Lord is right there,
Yeah,
and the pipe is there. So it tends to back up at 17 State Street.
That's
so
right
it
at the
goes
corner of
open
Noble,
cut
That's
to a
at-
pipe.
the corner of Noble and State.
Noble and Lord backs up.
Oh,
Because it's blocked.
that's
I don't know.
They should,
17 Noble, got it. Okay, way down at the bottom end,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's the concern of the neighbors, is that any water that's now at Hugo will work its way down, and then you're just gonna have that pooling at the end of State. You just moved it like 10 houses up.
Okay. We have another resident wants to speak. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Alan Hamway, 1 Hugo Lane. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Let me update on some of the facts. The 15-inch pipe was replaced. I'm retired and I could hear the trucks all the time in the backyard. It was like Swiss cheese, the members of the Stormwater Division told me. And originally, this problem happened because they tried to put a new pipe with an old pipe and it got worse. So David brought up an interesting point. When they tried to put everything back together, they destroyed some of the swales that were there. So now, and when it flowed, it didn't really flow enough towards the storm drain. And you're right, we've had climate change and rain and rain and rain. That's why we probably never called it. We've had more rain than we've ever seen in our life. So I think if you're going to address this, you've got to address our problem and Noble Drive. Otherwise, everybody's going to be coming back all the time, say, yeah, you fixed one thing and look what you did to our area. So maybe it does need more engineering. But definitely, they need to see the contour of the drainage. It's not just replacing the pipes. How does this really flow? Is it flowing where it should be? And again, it blows my mind why 15-inch pipes were replaced with 10.
Yeah.
Weren't they on some drawing somewhere
Yeah.
in the town? And I never got a notice, and I'm one of the ones that had the pool, and this is what, a month later? But at least it's brought to everybody's attention. So I want to thank you for your time and trouble, and let's see if we can make this a collaborative effort. Fix Noble, fix Hugo. Don't just fix our problem and create another problem of Lynn and Tim and anyone else. And Paul Richter, my neighbor, number 3, we have the biggest pool of water. And we didn't know whether to go to the town to rename our street Hugo Lake instead of Hugo Lane, but it didn't get deep enough, so we didn't pursue that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Well, and you can see that on the plan, the swale has been added to the plan. It says original swale to be restored, to the extent that's practicable.
All right, so what are we thinking?
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we continue this hearing to our next meeting, allow our agent a chance to take a look at possibly some special conditions as far as, as he discussed about having some more engineering that could address all the problems out there. So he could work that issue. So we don't want to do something, good for one neighborhood, but then have another, adverse impact. So, and then also we give the DPW engineering department a chance to go back and take a further look from an engineering perspective. And I know personally for me, I just like to have a lot more comfort that, if we approve this thing, that, these other guys are going to get some action soon. They're not going to be just left out there with nothing happening. So anyway, I move to continue to our next meeting, which would be September 10th.
Well, I
second
think,
the motion.
Comment from David?
so I think that, again, the additional analysis that would have to be done just to understand, the effect of this project. I mean, I'm not sure how involved that is. You have, I mean, again, you'd have to identify all of the inputs, or the locations of all of the inputs. You'd have to do it for, different size storms. I'm not sure that that's something that's possible to do in only 2 weeks. I mean, I think it's probably maybe even a couple month process.
That might be the right answer, though, to me, because I'm with Chris. I'm curious. John?
Is there a drainage ditch at Noble that can be taken and cleaned out?
Maybe.
So,
I live a half mile away from the place. I have not walked up there and looked. But
And I haven't.
if it's open cut, can they come in and clear that out so water can flow?
Yes.
I don't-
So that has been done. We've lived there for 35 years. That has been done at least twice, I think 3 times. But what's happened is every time the DPW comes in, and we greatly appreciate that the DPW comes in and cleans it out for us, but they always scoop from the Noble Drive side, and they plop it onto the bank of the Freeman Road side. Because what's
Well, I
happened
don't know. You
is...
must live on the wrong side of the street.
I live on the wrong side of the creek, right? I know.
your
And I
mistake.
think what's happened is because the other side has been allowed to grow taller trees and brush and
okay.
stuff. because
So it's
we-
brush and stuff
We're
that's
just
been...
easier to clear.
Willows?
Every time we
so
clear-
let's
they-
Any
let's-
willows
let's-
over there?
Let's not solve the problem here because we're not going to solve the problem here.
But yes, to answer
But-
your question, yes, that
Okay.
is a
I
possibility.
think just say, I think what I'm hearing, though, is that the other abutters are willing to wait. Is that fair to say? You're willing to wait until the other concerns
Yeah,
are
yeah.
addressed?
So let me ask Mark. You were getting ready to second the motion, but do you have any other thoughts?
No, I agree with
You-
Chris
you-
100%.
Okay, okay.
I think it should, you don't want to do something and find out what you did to that point is wrong, and it's going to be, you have to go back and do something.
Yep.
You might as well do the whole area, at least do it engineering-wise. And then you can say, I'll do this part, and we get funding, we'll do the next part, but you know it's in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Literally.
Good one. In the pipeline.
Yeah, well,
I know
15-inch
that
pipe, yeah.
part of the pipe replacement, we are hoping to do during dry weather, so pushing it off might, I mean, I can't speak on the DPW schedule or the weather patterns that we're gonna have, but there's a chance that pushing it off might push it off for a while.
Yeah.
Is a risk, but
But I think I hear the
Yeah,
abutters are
that's a-
willing to wait.
Yeah,
I just wanted
I'd like to at least get 2 weeks to
yeah,
get some more DPW oversight into this and
Yeah.
feedback. I think at least 2 weeks to Chris's motion. So I heard Bill, do you have anything you want to?
No, I agree with you. I couldn't approve it just for replacing the pipe without looking at the whole picture.
So why don't we do that? Chris made the motion. I think I heard Mark seconded the motion, and so the idea is that the motion again, Chris, I'll let you restate it.
I move to continue this hearing until our next meeting, September 10th, to allow the engineering department to do some further research and investigation on how to minimize impacts on the, all the streets here that we're looking at, Hugo Lane, State Street, as well as the folks out here at,
All right,
And,
thanks.
and
So,
and I'm certainly happy to work with the DPW on identifying the analyses that need to be done.
Yep.
Not that they don't
Yeah.
need my help, but.
all right,
yeah.
motion from Chris, second from Mark to continue. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you.
Right.
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you, Courtney, and thank you very much to the residents for your input. Really appreciate it. Okay,
I wanted to put it to bed, it wasn't gonna work.
yeah. Nope, it's never easy. Next one is a notice of intent. This is a new notice. So this is notice of intent, Jennifer Costa and Sarah Hundley at 122 Boston Road. Maureen Herold is representing the applicant from Norse Environmental. Hello, Maureen. Actually,
Hi, how are you?
We have to read a notice. Yeah, we're good. Get the notice up, and we have our crack vice chair to read the notice.
Legal notice pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Chelmsford Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 187. The Chelmsford Conservation Commission will conduct a public hearing here at the town offices on Tuesday, August 27th, 2024, to consider the notice of intent filed by property owners Jennifer Costa and Sarah Hundley for proposed work within riverfront area and 100-foot buffer zone bordering vegetated wetlands and inland bank at 122 Boston Road, further identified as Assessor's Map 94/Block 368, Lot 21. The project entails demolition followed by reconstruction in a slightly larger footprint with second story of an existing garage and breezeway, installation of utilities, paver patio, step drain, and stormwater management structures, grading, and landscaping. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chris. Why don't you tell us about this project? Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, may I please bring in the plan?
Sure.
Yep.
Hold on, Maureen, I think you should be able to share, but let me double check that.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so what we're proposing to do is to raise this existing breezeway as well as the garage and essentially reconstruct it. The breezeway is proposed to be 2 feet further back, this section here. And the garage is proposed to be 2 feet or 2.5 feet expanded in this direction here. We have a perennial stream, which is Putnam Brook. We have the BBW, which is shown as this A series. So as you can see, the entire lot is essentially within the 200-foot riverfront area. Most of the expansion for the driveway will be on existing impervious area. In addition to that, we'd like to construct a paver patio. That's, majority of it is greater than 50 feet from the wetland itself. The 50-foot is shown in this bluish purplish color here. To improve the existing conditions, we are providing rooftop infiltration in an area of lawn behind the house itself. We are proposing a small little basin here because essentially when you walk up the driveway, there's a step down and this area just puddles with water naturally. We have a retaining wall located here. So what we'd like to do is incorporate this drain system and outlet it over in this direction. When David and I walked the site, we looked to see if we needed to cut any trees. I don't think that will be necessary, but essentially any disturbance within this area will be restored with some native planting. So we're proposing 3 native plantings. Putnam Brook has an associated 100-year floodplain and bordering land subject to flooding. We're not proposing any work within that area. We are requesting a waiver from your setbacks. So currently, the existing dwelling, breezeway, and garage are located within the 50-foot no build. Again, that's this purple color. So we are requesting a waiver from that. The existing garage and breezeway is located within the 30-foot no impervious area, and that's this golden color that you see here. We are requesting a waiver from that. The closest point is this 19.5 feet, and we are maintaining that. So the new construction will not encroach any further than the existing conditions itself. The house itself was built, believe it or not, in 1776. And I provided that property card in the notice of intent. And I can open it up to the commission with any questions or concerns.
Okay, thank you very much. David, do you have some commentary?
Just a couple of quick comments. So, actually, a waiver is not required for expansion of the footprint, where you see this up here, proposed 2-foot expansion, because the structure was built before the bylaw. It can be added on to, which means expanded. Without a waiver. Really, the only under the bylaw, the only kind of waiver that might be required is a little bit of the patio within 50 feet. But I think with regard to that issue and with regard to the riverfront area regulations, I think this is easily justifiable because it's an improvement that is proposing to handle the roof runoff with a subsurface infiltrator, I believe. Isn't that correct, Maureen?
Yes, at the rear of the dwelling.
So I think that's really sufficient justification for. I mean, this is really a de minimis impact anyway. Yeah. But especially with the improvement to the roof drainage, I think the commission can approve this. Not a problem.
Okay. All right. Thanks. John, comments?
I'm good with Dave.
Okay.
I know the piece of property. It's, I think you're good, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good job.
Bill?
I agree, the waivers, it's an older house, it's exempt from the waivers. You got an 8-foot difference in elevation from where this addition is down to the wetland, right? Am I correct?
There are 4 elevations on that property.
You're up a lot higher than the wetland.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So are you putting frost walls? Is it a full cellar in either one, in the breezeway section? I know the garage will be on slab, but.
Right. I believe it'll be frost walls.
Frost walls?
Yes.
Okay. So you're gonna take out what's there, put this new breezeway and new garage in. The only thing I would say was you've just got straw wattles. Maybe you need one of those orange fences up there, just because when you demolish that addition in the garage, just to keep stuff from blowing down into the wetland area. Other than that,
Sure,
I'm
that-
fine. Other than that, I'm fine with this.
No problem.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Mark?
You're gonna have an excavating or a machine in there doing the site work, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a spoil spot for, soils, I mean? I don't see anything there.
We don't show one on the plan. There is a driveway bump out located right here. We could possibly put it here or on the front lawn,
That's fine,
just
that's
for
up to
different
you.
ideas.
I'm not gonna tell you where to put it, just make sure has, the sock around it,
Okay,
and, as far away from the wetlands as possible, that's all. And still be able to
Okay.
use it, I'm not trying to say put it across the lot. You still gotta back cement trucks in there, so you need a little room.
right. Okay,
That's all, there's no drains, the garage floor, the basement. No, that's it.
Thanks, Mark. Chris?
Yeah, I just want to point out again, it's echoing David, when you look at our bylaw, section 187-5, section E, it's really clear. The reconstruction, alteration, extension, or structural change of a building existing on or before October 15th, 1990 shall be exempt from the provisions of section 187-5. So, I mean, I absolutely agree with what David said, so I'm good with this.
Okay, good. Yeah, and I think,
thank you.
when I think about this patio, I mean, it's pervious material uphill of the driveway, so that's not even,
It's a really peculiar house.
It's a,
Yeah,
if you look
okay.
at the lot,
yeah, okay. So, yeah, I'm with you. So, okay.
that's what it is.
This is a public meeting. I will ask if there's any comment from the public, anybody from the public that wants to have a comment on this project. I don't see anybody moving, so take a motion to close the
I
hearing.
move that we close this hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Motion from Chris. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. Motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the hearing is closed.
I move that we issue our standard order of conditions. Chairman, anything special, David?
The concern that Mark mentioned, that actually is a standard order.
Okay.
And the way that's generally worded is to say that it has to be, a certain distance away from the wetlands. I'll think a little bit about the exact figure to put in there. I don't know whether it's 50 feet or 75 feet or it's the whole buffer zone. I think, I'll think about that a little bit more.
I just like seeing something on the plan.
Well, that can certainly be done.
Yeah.
I can work with Maureen and the engineer on that. No problem.
David, can we just add one of those orange plastic, the cheap fence, just to keep the debris from blowing into the wetland area? Because it's all downhill.
Yeah, we can do that, and and maybe hay bales instead of straw wattles might be a better protection with silt fence, because that is steeply sloped.
Right.
I think
It
that's
is a
the main
steep
concern
slope.
in this case.
Okay,
Slippery slope.
conditions noted.
Yeah, those conditions noted, hay bales, we've got a special notation as to Mark's concern. The agent's gonna work out,
Okay.
so moved.
Motion from Chris. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion passes. Thank you very much for the discussion presentation. Nice job. Good luck on the project. And I know you'll
Thank
be
you. Have a good night.
talking with David to move forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda, we have a continued from July 9th. Notice of intent from Property Possible. This is for 10 Hildreth Street. And we have, hello, Brian. We have Brian joining us here representing the applicant. I believe there have been revised plans that have come in. So, David, do you want to set this up or let Brian talk first, or what? How do you want to?
I assume the commission has had a chance to review the cover letter and plans that I forwarded to you that I received from Brian. You know, I'll just say quickly that you know, just looking at here, the cover letter that was submitted.
Thank you.
I think from the commission's perspective, I think, you know, certainly one of the most, if not the most important point is that the limit of work has been moved outside the 100-foot buffer zone. So I'll let Brian take it from there.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Good evening. For the record, Brian Goodrow with Hancock Associates. So I intend to be brief this evening. David summarized pretty well. I know we had been before you several weeks ago at this point with a revised exhibit plan showing Lot 4 having a little bit of yard area still within that 100-foot buffer. At the conclusion of the last hearing, we explained we would take a hard look at that lot as well as the outfall for the roadway drainage to see if we can remove that entirely outside of the 100-foot buffer, and we've done that on the revised plan. So Lot 4 no longer proposes work within the 100-foot buffer, and the outfall for street drainage has been moved and angled away from the 100-foot buffer as well. So I think that we've addressed the commission's concerns with respect to those items. The only other kind of outstanding item on our list is natural heritage. So we've been working with them. We have not received a conditional no-take letter. It's in process. We're actually assigned a new reviewer due to an extended leave of absence of our previous reviewer. So we're bringing him up to speed, and we anticipate receiving that letter in the coming weeks. So that's the update I have for you for natural heritage.
David, we can't close the hearing until that natural heritage.
That's correct. But otherwise, I would say that the plan is something the commission can and should approve. You know, all of the changes the commission requested have been made.
It's outside, and now it's outside of our 100-foot.
Yep.
Okay, any questions from the commission? Chris, do you want to start us off? Do you have anything you?
No, I mean, the update's pretty clear where we stand at this point.
Okay, Mark, anything?
It's outside of our jurisdiction. Anything we wanted to request on this? No, I got nothing.
Bill?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I
All
got
right.
to agree with everybody.
It is a open meeting. I will entertain any comments from the public if there's anybody who wants to talk. We're open to anyone who wants to come up. Good evening.
Good evening, Paul Wood, 16 Hill Street. Mine's more of a question. I know I don't have the plan in front of me, but that Lot 4, quite a bit of the lots in the 100-foot buffer zone. And I know they talked about putting up a post and rail fence saying this is, like, I don't know, protected area. My question is, I buy the property, 3 years down the road, I take that fence down, I start making lawn. What happens?
You
have
know,
any-
that's why, that's one of the reasons why this project will still get an order of conditions.
Okay.
Because that will allow to put a condition, the commission to put a condition in that says that, you know, that fence or something has to stay there forever. You know, that will be what's called a perpetual condition, that the buffer zone line be permanently marked in some way. Split rail fences can deteriorate. That's why, you know, the commission has, conditions that say, well, you know, it can be boulders or something else, but that something has to be there forever, and that the area on the wetland side of it has to stay permanently undisturbed.
And that's for the whole, I don't know, the fence goes quite a distance type
Yep.
thing, or whatever it's gonna end up being. And I know they talked at one point that land being Lot X or something like that.
Parcel X, yes.
Is that still under discussion with how that's gonna be dealt with?
I gather. I gather it's still being discussed internally.
All right,
I mean, there's no proposals to do anything with it.
thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Does it make sense to continue for 2 weeks? 2 meetings. For,
I move then, Mr. Chairman, that we continue to our end of September meeting, which is September 24th.
Second.
motion from Chris, second from Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Brian. Thank you.
This is our final plan?
It's final for today.
They still have to go to the
I'm just
planning board.
asking.
They still have to go to the planning board, so.
Oh, they still have to go through planning board?
Tomorrow night,
believe so.
Planning board, tomorrow night, right?
Oh,
Planning
I
board.
thought it was through planning board.
Nope.
No, no.
Oh, so this is not our final.
We'll see.
Good luck.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that concludes the regulatory part of our meeting. We will now go into general discussions, continual business, and land management. First topic here is the Chelmsford Strategic Plan. Just a note that we do have a strategic plan committee. Peter is our representative on that committee. He's working on that. He's not here tonight, but just a couple of notes. The strategic plan will guide the town's operations over the next 5 years, and once completed, align the town's budget and resources with strategic priorities and objectives. Barry Dunn is the consultant working with the committee on this. There are surveys that are out there, or a survey, and there are opportunities for input. I have not done anything to formalize anything from a conservation input on this. If anybody has any thoughts or ideas, I'm open for ideas.
I'm sure Peter does.
I'm sure Peter does, and I'm sure he's putting it in there, so,
Yeah.
and there is an event, a kickoff event, a community kickoff event in a few weeks. It's Wednesday, September 18th at 5:30 at the Chelmsford Elks Lodge on Littleton Road, 300 Littleton
What
Road.
time?
5:30.
I might be there.
So, any other comments on the strategic plan? Anybody? Nope. I just want to make sure we capture that. Update on the open space and rec plan, that is moving along. We had a meeting, was that last week? We had a meeting? And it's moving along. We're making some good progress there. There is an ADA site compliance visit on Friday at the Cranberry Bog. And there's a Conservation Commission member from the Northborough Conservation Commission who's coming here to the Cranberry Bog. Peter said he would be able to be there. There's some members of the Commission of Disabilities. I think Phil from COS is going to be there. I think Dave Sperry from the Open Space Plan. I'm hoping to be there, but I've got something else going, so I don't think I'm going to be there, but I'm not sure yet. The intent of this is the Northborough, this Vincent Ignali, I think his name is, has offered his help because they, as a commission and as an open space plan, they went through this ADA site compliance process, and it's quite involved in a lot of work. And so our town Commission on Disabilities reached out and found this guy through their network, and he was willing to come and talk about what they did, which is very helpful. Instead of us like figuring out the details, he can say, hey, this is what we did. And so that's a good start. Peter said he would be there. I texted with him and he said he'd be there. So I'm glad we have at least one commission member that's going to be there on Friday. I'm going to try still, but I've got some other stuff going on, so I don't know. If anyone else wants to join Friday at 1 o'clock at the Cranberry Bog, you're welcome to join.
In our parking lot.
In the parking lot, yeah. I'm sure it'll start there. It'll probably, I don't think it would go beyond the dam, but just the parking lot to the dam. They might go to another site as well. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I just got the email, I think, yesterday. Next one, land management, the Russell Mill NEMBA MOU. We did get that back. Actually got it back a few weeks ago. There was an update that was in your email package. It looks pretty good to me. I'm good with signing off on it. I just wanted to see if anybody had any issues or comments
Is
on
it
it.
similar to the other one?
Yeah, we just kind of,
Any substantive changes at all, or?
Honestly, I don't remember anything substantial. It was just kind of wording and,
It all looks pretty minor to me.
yeah, it was very, very minor. They identified some projects that they're working on, but it's just, the idea is just really that we're just trying to refresh these and.
All right, see, that's it right there. And the
Yep.
blue,
Yes,
blue is
yes.
the only changes we're looking at, so,
Blue and red, yeah.
blue and red, yeah. I mean, I don't see anything yet, right?
Yeah.
All minor stuff.
Yeah, and those guys do a great job.
they've been
on that.
working great.
Stewart's there.
Yeah, they do a
And the
really good job.
relationships been working great.
Yeah, I think that was it. So if you guys are okay, then I'll sign it with the president of the, I think it's the
I
president.
make a
of the-
motion then that we authorize our chairman to sign the MOU with NEMBA
For Russell Mill.
for Russell Mill.
Second.
Okay, motion from Chris, second from Bill, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great, thank you.
Did they shingle a shed there or something?
They did. I meant to say that. It turns out the shed is under the size for a building permit.
Okay.
And
all right.
they had a contractor that they worked with who, I don't want to say owed them a favor or something, but was willing to work with them. Maybe they paid him, maybe they paid the contractor, but they got the work done in a morning, I think it was. And came out good, yeah.
Kyle, do we still have an MOU to do with costs?
Costs and the CYBL, not BL, soccer on Russell Millfield, yeah.
Okay.
Still have to work those. Yep. I don't have anything really new on Coolis. We talked about it last meeting. I don't.
I just have one thing to say is I got the survey plan for the wetland flagging back. Yeah, there are quite a few wetland flags that they weren't able to find. I don't think it's a huge issue. I don't see a compelling reason to get them reflagged, at least
Okay.
not at this time.
We can interpolate or.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's gonna, maybe at some point in the future, but I think not now.
Okay. Thanks. Update on Warren Poll. Dave, did we send the CR to the KP Law yet?
No, there's something that has come up in the meantime with the project, a proposed new sidewalk on Parkerville Road that I really need to get an opinion from town council on. I thought that was a higher priority, but I think next week I should be able to
Okay.
send him
Okay.
the CR.
Okay, good, thanks. Yeah, I'd like to get that and get it submitted.
On Parkhurst Road? Is that what you said?
Parkerville.
Parkerville. Yeah, there's a proposed sidewalk, and
Yeah, because the Parkhurst is already underway.
it's what?
Parkhurst is already underway.
Yes.
Just a reminder that the fall town meeting, that there will be a motion. We voted on this to approve the transfer of the Warren Poll to the Conservation Commission, along with the 5 other parcels?
Five, I think
I think it was 5, whatever. So that's on the town meeting agenda for late October, mid-October, whenever that is, late October. And we don't have wetlands delineation started at Warren Poll yet either.
No.
You get a chance to talk to Matt?
No.
Okay.
I promise I will.
I think I mentioned last time that we had a meeting scheduled with Kate Benson from the DER to meet there, and she wasn't able to meet the day that we were going to meet a couple of weeks ago. She now has proposed September 11th. I took the liberty of saying that works for us, so I hope that works for you, David.
Yeah,
And if
that's 2 weeks from tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So if anybody else wants to join us at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, the 11th at Warren Poll, her expertise is meadows and protecting meadows. And so we're just kind of trying to get her state experience and help us make sure we're moving in the right direction with a long-term meadow management plan there. I don't know that we'll engage them on anything necessarily. It's not out of the question, but
Well, we'll see what they're willing and able to do.
yeah, we'll see. Additionally, a couple other things I wanted to add. I had a conversation with Christine Clancy from the DPW. They have chainsaw training coming up in August, I think it is, October. for a number of people in their organization, and they're looking for places in town where they can take down dead trees and leave them there. They don't want to have to chip them up and remove them, but they want to let each person be able to take a dead tree down with a chainsaw. And so I said, well, I know Warren Pole and Cranberry Bog both have a number of trees along the trails that maybe we wouldn't today be cutting them down if we didn't have to, but I don't think it's a bad opportunity to let them.
Crooked spread.
Maybe.
Some at the
I've
right,
been
too.
there. There's a couple of scary ones that I wouldn't want to do training on there.
Who's gonna
I
be
know at
liable?
Warren Pole, I know a few that are dead or dying. There's a couple of ash that are still a little bit of green on them, but they're not going to live.
What about the right reservation? There was a couple on there.
Yeah, there's a few, but they're not right on the trail. And
Oh, it has to be on the
I'd like to
trail?
have them right on the trail, but have them dropped off the trail. And the idea is that they can just drop them and walk away and leave them, and then it helps us with safety on the trail. That we're not having, like the one I'm thinking of at Warren Pole. There's one in particular that's right on the main trail, right against the brook, and it's a big, tall, dead tree. And in fact, last week, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went out and a huge dead limb had fallen right on the trail, and I'm like, okay, this tree has to come down
Well, let's
because
let 'em have start there.
that's gonna take care of it.
I thought
So-
there was one in the entrance, not too far from the parking lot at right. We had that walk.
There
off
might be.
fence.
That's where I was
I know that Christina, when I talked to her, she said they want to try to keep it to 2 sites.
Okay.
So I think Warren Pole, which means, honestly, I think the Cranberry Bog, if you walk from the parking lot to the dam, you can find 20 trees that are dead or dying, because many of them have their feet in the water. So they don't all last that long. If the water comes up, they just don't
Yeah.
do that well. Some of them are pretty small, so I don't know that would satisfy her need. I'm going to meet with her Thursday at 1 at Warren Pole and then at Cranberry Bog, and we'll tag the ones that we agree make sense. And if we
Any
have
willows
enough-
out there?
Any what?
Any willows?
No
Willows are
squirrels.
good.
No squirrels.
No, willows in a tree.
I'm just looking to see if you guys are okay with this approach, if there's any concern.
Cranberry Bog might be a good spot because they can open the fire gate and drive down with equipment too.
Yeah.
Might be easy.
It's just the access is really easy there. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a class, I'd like to support their
Sure.
it's safety, it's training.
Yeah.
I like the idea of leaving trees up as long as we can until they really need to be taken down, but in this case, I think it's
Yeah,
a
but there
good-
might be some that are
it's a-
real hazards
It's a good
on the trails
trade-off
and stuff,
to me,
yeah,
so
yeah.
if you guys, I just wanted to, I'm not
And
not
now is the
looking
time of
really for
year
a
to
vote.
do it.
Just-
Birds aren't nesting.
Yeah, this is a good time, birds not nesting. So no objections, we'll just, okay, and join me if you want on,
This is instructional
Thursday.
for residents. Is that what I'm hearing?
no, for DPW crew,
Employees.
Oh,
DPW employees.
oh.
Yeah, for them to have hands-on with this, somebody from the state is coming in to do this training. Now, it may
Ride
be
around town.
DPW and, like, maybe it's with
Ride
Bill
around
Records,
town.
I'm not
That
sure.
one.
Okay.
But it's a town training, it's not,
Yeah.
The ones
it's not
that
open to
fall.
the public.
Yeah, I never had any training before the first time I grabbed a chainsaw.
Me either.
Okay,
I
all
wouldn't recommend that, though.
right, and
Carl, were you going to give an update on the right reservation walkway?
did I skip over? Oh, I did, yeah. So on the right reservation, sorry, I skipped over that. So we've started some of the work on building the walkways. It's going well. I missed one of the work parties this morning because I was still up in Portland, but they've been making a lot of progress on that. Interestingly, we're still working to get the Board of Trustees to approve the funding, but I'm running into some snags there. It'll work out, but it's just an interesting process to make that happen. But we'll get that.
Where are you making those? At Warren Pole?
Yep. Yeah, in the pole barn, in the open barn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So actually, it's not on the agenda, but there's another issue with Wright is, I forget whether I had mentioned it back earlier in the year. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I think I did mention it, that there's a tree that has come down from Wright that's fallen on the property at 93 Green Valley Drive. Does that ring a bell with anybody?
Oh, that's on the other side. Okay.
Yes, yes. So I had told them to get estimates for removing the tree.
Okay.
Which they got one, but it's really only for $1,000. I don't think it's necessary to get another one. In fact, Paul has signed that. So I think that's something else that will have to come out of the right reservation account.
We probably will have enough money for that with the approval, because I think we're gonna end up being a bit under that number.
For the walkway extension.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I mean, I think there's 50 grand plus in
yeah,
in that
it's
account.
51, 52,000.
So would that be something that you could also, whenever you're gonna be meeting and talk about that,
Yep.
could you also put that on?
I will, I'll
For
say,
approval.
I'll
Okay.
add that 1,000 in there, yeah, assuming everybody's
thank
okay with that. Yeah, I don't think we need to
Yep.
vote on it, but yeah, okay, good, thanks for adding that, okay. The only other thing was, you and I talked about the Thanksgiving forest pollinator garden, that one of the neighbors is interested in putting a pollinator garden in right at the, the entrance to Thanksgiving. There's a grassy park area. There's a picnic table, the boat launch to the River Meadow Brook is
Oh,
right
Janet
there.
Road entrance.
Yep, yeah, at the Janet Road entrance. And so one of the neighbors just was asking if she could put a native pollinator garden, and I'm like, awesome, I need to connect with her, and I'd like to meet her and talk to her about it. But she has had some training in doing this. She's worked with Giancarlo Kalpis, who does this at Sunny Meadow and at some other sites. And I said, I can't imagine we wouldn't, we'd like to see the plan and see what's going on, but I said we'd bring it up, and I'm seeing nods, so we'll talk to her and see if she can come up with some kind of plan and sketch. It's probably, get it maybe marked out this year, and maybe there's some work this year to prep for next year. I'm not sure if she would even do it. I think you said she was traveling or something.
Right now, she is.
Yeah.
But she seems very interested in
Yeah.
this and wanting to do it at other sites. as
And
well.
has friends,
Yes.
neighborhood friends.
Very highly qualified friends.
Yeah, okay, all right, so it's great to hear, that would be great. Anything else, agents report, David, any other, I know you've been busy with a lot going on, but-
I can just give a quick update on 35 Brick Hill Road. I'm scheduled to meet with the owner on Tuesday to fill out the RDA form. And so at least we can get that part of the enforcement order addressed. So,
Okay. Good, and then approval for signature, we have a couple of CFC.
well,
CFC
actually, it turns out we don't.
Oh, okay,
So the person found the order of conditions and so that doesn't need to be signed. And the printer wasn't working. I wasn't able to print out the certificate of compliance, so that'll have to be on for next time.
well,
No vote is needed to do
okay,
that.
so, I know in the past, we've had Katie used to leave them out on the table and we'd come down and sign it. And
Okay.
once 4 of us come down and sign it, you're good to go. If you want to try that.
Okay,
Then we could make
Sure.
it a little faster. I know I can swing by and.
okay. I'll send an email.
Yeah, just send an email and say, hey, it's out here on the table.
This is for a house sale.
That work?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just clearing with you.
Yeah.
I just had one.
Email. Is that like a
Any more
text message?
information on that excavation site on Route 3, the median strip there? I know you sent out some info on that. Anything else coming down the pipeline, or when it's gonna happen, or?
This was the
Again,
oil spill you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got an email from Chief Ryan updating on that.
Yeah.
That I forwarded out.
Yeah?
I think you did.
So, no, I haven't gotten anything since then, but I'll look into it.
Water District wasn't even notified about that. I mean, I notified them when I got it, I just passed it on to them.
Well, in the future, I'll definitely notify them as well.
Okay,
If I
thank
hear
you.
anything.
Vivian, how we doing on meeting minutes?
I'm ready to slit my throat, but it's okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
please.
Not a
Don't-
laughing matter.
Not over minutes, okay? No,
Yeah,
not over
Yeah,
minutes.
don't do it over meeting minutes.
No.
Okay, all right, I'm sure we'll get caught up
Get
here.
there, we'll get there.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody have anything else you concerns? Okay, good. Nice. We're out of here. I'll take a
I
motion.
move to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Motion from Chris, second from Mark. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Adjourn. Thank you, Chelmsford Telemedia. Good night.
Good night, everyone.